Yeah, see.
Just getting the air down.
Well, Hardy's.
Early, just all these people coming in.
Right. He's trying to. Good. Yeah. And their dress is completely. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Delta Township Board meeting for Monday, August 4th. If you are able to stand with us as we do the pledge, please do. If you are not able to stand, that's okay.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk Clark, will you please call the roll? I think we did. The next on our agenda is a resolution in recognition of Mrs. Johnson, who turned 90 years old today. I'm not going to ask you to stand until the end. Is that okay, Mrs. Johnson? And she has her beautiful family here. Wave family. Look at that. She's got her family here with her tonight too. So this is such an honor. Whereas Christine Johnson was born and raised in North Carolina, where she met her husband, Irvin Johnson Sr., who was stationed in the U.S. Army. The two were married on January 2nd, 1958. And whereas after her husband received an honorable discharge in 1958, Christine and Irvin relocated to Michigan when Irvin took a job with General Motors and settled right here in Delta Township. And whereas Christine Johnson's greatest joy is her family. She and Irvin Sr. were married for over 65 years. She is a proud and dedicated mother of 10 children. Yes, including MSU and NBA basketball star Irvin Magic Johnson. And she is the grandmother of 22 beautiful grandchildren, 23 great grandchildren, and 7 great grandchildren. My Lord. And whereas Christine is devout in her faith, she is a member of the Bethel Seventh-day Adventist Church, where she is active in her church community. She helped implement an annual Thanksgiving dinner basket drive, which started with 25 families and has now grown to serving over 100 families in the area. And whereas additionally, Christine was integral in helping to secure a new location for her growing congregation, assisting the church and the community to expand and grow. And whereas Christine has a passion for people, she loves them from where they are. And she embraces them with an open heart. During her career at Hannah Middle School, which is where I had the honor of meeting her, she was beloved by all students and staff alike, and still keeps in contact with quite a few of them. Whereas Christine is a phenomenal cook. She has one rule in her kitchen: nothing comes from a box. Her passion for cooking goes hand in hand with her passion for people, as she takes pride in feeding the stomachs and souls of those she loves. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on the 4th day of August, 2025 in Delta Township, the board does hereby recognize and celebrate the kind and generous spirit of Christine Johnson, as well as her many contributions to our community and the greater Lansing region. And be it further resolved that we wish Christine a happy 90th birthday as she celebrates with friends, family, and community. So. And I'd love for her family to come up here with her too. We're gonna come around because I know you're gonna want to take pictures. Please, go ahead.
Give an honor to God who's the head of my life. And I just want to say that, you know, I love doing whatever I can do to help people in the community and anywhere I go. So I just want to say thank all of you for choosing me to giving me this honor today. Thank you so much. God bless all of you, and I thank God for my family and for my friends. And I thank God for all of you. God bless you and keep you. Thank you. Okay, okay.
We're just gonna stand in front. Big number. Yeah, you're. Back then you could potentially.
I think there's. See how it goes. What's good?
One of our great staff. Hi. Happy birthday. Hi, happy birthday. And many more, all right? Yeah. Definitely come back, but you know, 100.
Nice to see you.
Birthday, Oyster?
Then the last one I think is it's our newest truck, but it's not. Is it new?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great one.
All companies, I love you.
Really?
Good midnight.
It just got out of high school.
Thanks.
Last time I saw her. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your patience. Okay, we're gonna move along the agenda. Please know that our mics are very much live. So it picks up on all the voices and conversations. So I just wanted you to be mindful of that. We are now to the agenda. Is there a motion to accept the agenda or amend it?
I'm going to approve the agenda as presented this evening.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We are now down to our first public hearing. And I want to just say a few things. We're gonna be with the first one, which is A, which is the sheriff's contract funding resolution to establish the 2025 Public Safety Special Assessment District. And I'm gonna first turn it over to Courtney Nichols. She's our controller. She's going to give you a little bit of information and then I'll provide some more comments. Thank you, Courtney.
Yep. Want to be able to see it, Mary?
Yeah, 2 seconds. Back to technology tonight.
Okay, so we just wanted to give a little bit of an overview of how we ended up here, a review of the contract, the impact on the budget, our decision to propose the special assessment and the next steps. So how did we get here? Knowing that the county was facing financial challenges, they had 2 millage proposals that they put in front of the voters in Eaton County, November 3rd and May 6th. Both of those proposals failed countywide, but did pass in Delta. They would have added 3 mills was the first proposal, or 2 mills was the second proposal. So once that's millage failed in May, right away, we had a meeting with Eaton County. And they were very clear that they were going to end all road patrol, including our contract, which was set to expire September 30th. So we had 2 meetings where that was definitely the tone. That would have been Manager Reed, Supervisor Brewer, and myself. In our 3rd meeting, we were able to make some progress. And, well, I guess I should say during this time, we did explore other options. So we looked at contracting with City of Lansing, starting our own department, just using the state police like the rest of the out county. None of those options were really great or would be cheaper than continuing our contract with the county. And we knew this, and that was why we really were pushing the county to please, let's find a way, let's negotiate, let's get a contract. So after many hours of meetings and negotiations, we did come to an agreement with the contract that was passed by the board last meeting, I believe. Our goals were to protect Delta Patrol, negotiate before losing too many deputies, and I can't really emphasize that enough. I mean, Oakland County Sheriff's Office was literally recruiting in the substation. I mean, they were here, they said they'd take all of them. We lost a lot of deputies just in that month of the negotiation. It's a very competitive market for police. We wanted to determine the best way to safely keep staffing levels, mitigate the costs, preserve some county infrastructure, and ensure a long-term deal. So the new contract has been approved by the county and the township. Our costs did increase, and that was for many reasons. In our old contract, all of Eaton County was getting road patrol. So as included part of your taxes. So whether you in Oneida, wherever you were getting county road patrol. So the county gave us a credit back because we were paying beyond just the minimum amount. Well, once they stopped doing road patrol for the whole entire county, the credit went away. So right off the top, our cost went up $2.2 million because of the elimination of that credit. And now the only way you get road patrol in Eaton County is if you pay for it like Delta. The rest of the county is being served by the state police. Other things that impacted the contract, technology needs have changed, and our original contract did not include technology cost. Other things, the support fee stayed the same, but the county is now dedicating a portion of that to their unfunded pension liability. Our deputies will stay inside Delta. They will not patrol outside of Delta. They would only leave for mutual aid situations, life-threatening emergencies, and maybe if somebody needed a canine, but it's going to be very rare. We will reconcile the cost annually. So if we're down a deputy and we don't have that deputy through the course of the contract, we will get a credit for that deputy. That was not the case in the old contract. We also are paying a $2 million contribution to the county's defined benefit pension system, which we're getting back in a credit over 10 years with 5.93% interest. And what that does is reduces the annual payment, our annual payment. And it also lowers the overall cost of wages and fringes because it's gonna lower the county's pension cost, basically, their annual pension cost. So kind of a twofold benefit of that deal. This is small, but it's also in the packet. This is just a side-by-side comparison of the two contracts. So the biggest differences being the technology cost item, the lack of a credit, are really the two main things. And you can see that we get the MERS prepayment credit and an earnings credit that is now a part of the contract. But it did raise it to $8 million a year. So we've recently experienced two significant budget impacts. The bank in our county drain project. So we have an additional 500,000 in 2026 and 700 in 2027 that we had to work into the budget. And then our police services contract, which is increasing about 3.5 million. That's an 18% increase in our operating expenses. Unfortunately, we could not absorb this without significant impact. 57% of our budget is wage related. 14% is the sheriff contract and 8% are debt service, leases, drain payments, things that we cannot get out of paying. So it really doesn't leave a lot of other things when you still have to pay electricity and gas and all of the other maintenance and other items that the township provides. Can you move that, Mary? For some reason, it's not letting me, and the mouse is moving. So to fund a portion of the increased cost, we're proposing the creation of the Public Safety Special Assessment District. Since the township voters had approved the two proposals for 2 and 3 mills, we set the estimated levy at 1.5 mills, which is 34% of the total contract and 73% of the increase. The process requires 2 public hearings. Tonight is the first one. The second one will be set later tonight if the board chooses, and that would be September 2nd. We mailed notices to all property owners and published it in the paper twice. Average cost of the special assessment for residents is $161. With this increase, we'll still have a lower millage rate than the majority of our surrounding communities. A lot of these communities don't have full-time police and fire. But it still puts us, so if you add the 1.5 on the 7.8, you can see really we just overtake Delhi in millage rate. There is an ability to protest. You can file a claim, an appeal with a tax tribunal, and that's 35 days after what would occur on September 2nd. There's generally 2 areas of appeal in a special assessment. You can claim you should not have been included in the special assessment, but the district is set as the boundaries of the township. Or you can claim that you're not being assessed the correct amount. But in this case, the assessment's based on your taxable value. So it's pretty set what that assessment amount's gonna be. So the first public hearing is being held tonight. And then the board will consider taking action on setting the boundaries. And again, if you do decide to move forward with that, then the next public hearing would be September 2nd. And if this is adopted, it would appear on the winter 2025 tax bill. It is just an annual assessment in the winter. And then if it was something that we wanted to do again for the 2027 budget, we would have to do this again. It's an annual process.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Courtney. Okay, just a few things we want to go over as a reminder to everyone. The documents that Courtney referenced are on the website where the meeting agenda is. So they're not in your packet here tonight, but all of those financials, all the documents are there on the website for you. As we go into lining you up or getting prepared for speaking, please just line up like 3 at a time or so that we can keep it flowing and don't keep you here all night unless you want to stay here all night. You guys can stay here all night. You can stay here with us. We'll stay. Public comment is 3 minutes and we will have a timer going. So it is exactly 3 minutes. I want to make sure to mention that we have had 5 formal letters of protest which are published in, they were published in our board packet. One from Alec Aaron at 3005 Appaloosa Way. One from Bernard and Charlotte Harris, 6415 Old River Trail. One from Victoria and Constantine Shistkin, 6873 Abbey Lane. One from Amy Campu, 4510 Norwick Street, and one from Peter and Christine Klein, 12213 Dawn Haven Avenue. We also received several emails which are logged and listed in our packet. Again, when you come up for public comment, be sure to speak clearly, and you're going to need to state your name and your address. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and this is our opportunity to listen to you. So we will not be commenting back or having an exchange of conversation. It is really our opportunity to hear from you. That's why it's a public hearing. At the end of all of the public speaking, I will then close it and we will move further in the agenda from there. Any questions from the board before we move into the public hearing? Okay, so whoever would like to, well, first of all, I think I have to call, do I have to call us into public hearing? I need to first open up the public hearing, so I hereby open the public hearing. And anyone who wishes to speak may come up to the podium. You have 3 minutes, and 3 of you or 4 of you could come right up. So one's ready right after the other. Thank you. Please state your name and your address.
Rhonda Floyd, 12676 West Greenfield. I've lived in Delta Township for almost 50 years. At the time, it was considered a prestigious place to live. Not anymore. I used to feel safe walking my dog from Lowe's to St. Joe until bus stops and bus lines were implemented. I don't ever recall voting on extending bus service past Lansing Mall. All of a sudden, it was just there. I no longer feel safe due to the type of individuals exiting these buses. One driver told me if people don't have money to ride the bus, CATA still has to give them a ride. Trash, people begging. A Walmart employee even told me they were having problems with people off the buses. QD had a vagrant going through the trash containers in their big trash container on a daily basis. When asked to leave, the individual would not. About a month ago, I was waiting to go through the light at Broadbent and Saginaw when I was confronted with a group of Gaza supporters waving the Palestinian flag. They kept walking and refused to let me go through the light for several cycles, thus creating a serious 4-way traffic hazard. In addition, you've created this horrendous traffic situation on Saginaw Highway. I don't understand the board's motives here. Why do you want to create these problems? Have you seen the individuals at the bus stop across from Speedway or McDonald's on Saginaw? Check that out sometime. Delta Township used to be a good place to live, work, and play. By importing these individuals on buses and making Delta Township more accessible to outsiders, you're inviting additional crime and vagrants, making it unsafe like the inner city, Lansing, thus requiring additional police. How are you going to retaliate against voters in Delta Township this fall if the bus initiative on the ballot fails? Implement another assessment? When does it end? Why are the voters, landowners being penalized, including seniors on fixed incomes, for voting down a proposal? Collect the new funding from businesses that want to be out here. Currently, they're the ones that need police services. As stated in your estimate of public safety special assessment letter, you are going to review annually a detailed assessment. If you don't honor the will of the people, then it is not a democracy. You seem to want to create what you believe is your utopia, where the will of the people is irrelevant. We all have to live within our budget. Why don't you? Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Yes, hi. My name is Fred Stevens. I live at 420 Rinker Road, Lansing, Michigan, and we got hit with a double whammy. I got an assessment increasing my tax base $12,000 for that stupid binky drain commission, which we had no vote on. But yet, when they touted the program, they said there are 3 different options. Not one of them was presented to the voters. We were told what to do. And I am running, so basically my taxes are gonna double. And now you want to add more to that? I am really kind of upset about it. One time we had to call the the sheriff's office because there were some kids walking up and down our street at 3 a.m. in the morning, going through cars, checking to see if they were locked. And my neighbor's car was opened up and they took out a kid's backpack. They took the backpack to the front of my yard and opened it up and went through it. Called the police. What did they say? They said, well, there's nothing we can do about it. What do you mean there's nothing you can do about it? So if we're supporting police who say they can't do anything about it, why are we supporting them? Are we going to be like Flint, where Flint had a police department that wasn't serving the public? Their job was to hand out traffic tickets. And that's what they did. They handed out traffic tickets, but they didn't protect their citizens. So you know what Flint did? They recalled the police. Are we going to turn into something like that here? Because I don't have any reassurance that the police are going to do anything to help members of the community or the property owners. But I just don't want to be I just don't want to be Flint. I want the police to do their job. So when we called him out on it, when he called the sheriff out on it, he came out and the police did come back to our house with their tails between their legs and said, we'll take a look at it. Show us your video footage. Because we had just installed video cameras on our house. And at that point, they changed, but they said, you know, the picture isn't that clear, but we'll hold on to the image. The other question I have is what's going to happen with these IT people that they're talking about supporting? Is that going to be for the entire county or is that just going to be for Delta Township? Who's paying for it? You know, a few years ago, I called the sheriff and asked them, okay, so where's all of our tax money going for this? And I said, well, it's being dispersed throughout the county. All right. Are we subsidizing Charlotte? Are we subsidizing, are we subsidizing?
Thank you so much. I'm
Rapid?
sorry to interrupt, but your time is up.
All right.
But thank you for your comment, sir.
I just don't want to be subsidizing the rest of the county,
Thank you.
no matter what it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Next public comment, please.
Hi, my name is Judy Gill and I live at 7482 Roxborough Lane. I just have two quick questions. One, if this is a 1-year plan, what happens in the second year? Are you getting pricing controls in place that in 12 months from now, it won't be exponentially higher? That wasn't explained and that's my main question.
Thank you, Ms. Gill. Next public speaker, and if there are others, please come on closer to the lectern.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nick Burns, 5111 West Willow Highway. Been a resident for 30 years in the township here. I kind of feel like we're being held hostage by the people that are supposed to protect us. The proposal to do a special.
Excuse me, if we could hold our comments to those that are speaking, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, start my time again.
Go right ahead.
The proposal
Good.
to do a special assessment on Delta County homes and residents, I feel is discriminatory. It puts the burden of covering Eaton County's financial issues on Delta Township. It is not our fault that they can't balance their books and pay for retirement. There's only 33,000 people in Delta Township. There's 109 in Eaton County. So those other 67,000 people should be held accountable for a certain amount of this money. We already paid Delta Eaton County taxes. Got the right page here? And now you want to put us on the hook for more. We should be creating our own public safety patrols. I see we have vehicles out there that say Delta Patrol. We should be really looking into having our own patrol service that just services our areas. If these guys aren't leaving now, then why aren't we paying for that? I know that Lansing Township has a $1.5 million budget that they pay their police and fire in that area for. So I don't think it's out of the norm that we could afford to have our own patrols. If we do go to this route of assessing all the homeowners, we need to use a variable rate for the businesses, because the businesses are the ones that use the police the most. I've been in this county 30 years. I've had the police at my house 2 times, both asking me for assistance with cameras. Not that I look at everybody. But you know, I voted twice no on this, and I voted to fund the building behind us that's going to be used. And so there's another avenue. I'm all for public safety. I think it's our right to have that. And it's absolutely necessary. But I think the tax base has gotten so broad here and so large that people are just saying, I can't do it anymore, you know? So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Public speaking. Next one.
Matthew Jenkins, 8307 Yellowstone. I was born in Delta Township. It's Value City Furniture now, where the house once sit, but that's where I was born. My wife is a lifelong member, and her family as well as from Delta Township, so we are quite rooted in this area. So I'm here to speak against this special assessment for public safety. Adamantly oppose it, voted twice to not approve it. Not sure what we're getting for this increase of money, what we were already paying prior. I feel like the Eaton County Sheriff's Department is holding the township hostage with some dirty politics, it feels like. We have not seen a patrol through our neighborhood the entire time that we've lived there for 5 years now. And the only time I've seen a police vehicle go through the neighborhood was there a high-speed chase that ended in our neighborhood. So that's pretty sad that we don't even get a drive-through. And probably my biggest problem is there needs to be a more equitable way of paying for this, maybe other than property tax. I will probably never call the sheriff's department. I don't anticipate that happening. And I know there are super utilizers that are paying far less or live in an apartment that don't pay anything. Why do I have to foot the bill because of my SEV is higher than theirs? I think there needs to be maybe a fair financial solution for that. And if we do approve this, it gets passed, are we gonna have a better crackdown on crime? My wife and I recently had dinner at Denny's just down the street. And we had a little show of 2 drug deals that went down behind the Shell station that were totally visible to the public. That's pretty depressing that what we pay in property taxes, and we're having inner city issues here. I have a 28-year background in municipal government and public safety, so I kind of know where I'm talking about. I just think you need to find a better solution to either paying for this. I worked through the financial crisis in 2008 with our city government, and we found a way to get through it. So there are other ways to finance this, but definitely need to have a discussion with the Eaton County Sheriff Department. I feel like they're holding us hostage. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Next public meeting.
Hi, thank you. My name is Molly Woods. I live at 6060 North River Highway, Grand Ledge. I'll keep my comments brief. One, I hope that all of you as supervisor, manager, trustees will listen to what's said tonight, and rather than just hearing it, actually act on it, because I think you're going to hear a lot of non-support for it. Two, in talking with people in the audience, my husband, others, we voted this down twice as a county. How can we have a special assessment because you need it? right? Or you determine you need it. What's to stop you from next year having another special assessment? And the year after that, another special assessment? That's my concern, right? And third, I would say, if you don't like it, we can all vote, we can run and sit where they're sitting. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public speaker, please.
My name is Nathan Butcher. I live at 1810 Sunnydale. So I wanted to say that getting the assessment here after we had the countywide vote get rejected for this makes me wonder what the point of having that vote even was if we're going to get hit with a tax for this anyway. Because I am proud of the people of Eaton County for saying no, because right now we are staring down much bigger issues than having a little more policing. Right now at the federal level, we are losing access to all sorts of support for public education, medical research, technological research, support for really everyone's healthcare, mental health care. We're losing access to all of this. And there are a lot more important things that we could be spending our local tax dollars on than continuing to have Eaton County Sheriff's Department patrolling our area, and according to what other people have said, seemingly not doing much of anything. So I think there are a lot better uses for our tax dollars in supporting the people that actually live here in Delta Township.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Mr. Butcher. Public speaker.
Hi, my name is Michaela Lucas. I live at 4909 West Haven Boulevard in Lansing. My family and I moved here about 10 years ago. My husband took a job at General Motors in Delta Township at the Delta plant, and that brought my family here. I originally lived in Galesburg, Michigan. My taxes were half of what they were when I moved here, but this place was safe and it was different than all the other parts of Lansing. And it was a place I felt like I could raise my family. I'm a homeschool mom of 3. I have an 8-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 12-year-old. We're a one-income family. I looked back at my taxes from when I moved here in 2016. And my taxes have increased 35% in the last 10 years. This is not sustainable for my family. We cannot continue to absorb these 5% increases every year, along with special assessments for drains, along with special assessments for police. And by the way, I am a big supporter of public safety and police, but I believe that this township does have fiscally responsible people that have invested well, and that the township does have the means to pay for this. If the township cannot find that in their budget, we have Amazon. We have moved huge businesses, multi-billion-dollar businesses into this township that can pay for this. The people cannot keep paying for this. And I have been told that we are also staring down the vote of a $750,000 CADA assessment coming up that is going to bring more buses to our area, and that is necessary in order for the township to get funding for low-income housing, which I personally don't want to see happen to Delta Township, because I feel that that will decrease our property values. I think that will create even more reason for police patrol, because we will have possibly more crime with more population. I don't want to see this place become like every other part of Lansing. I don't want to see myself have to sell my house that I've worked really hard to improve and pay for, and have to sell because I can no longer afford to stay in this county. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Leeson. Next public speaker.
Evening, my name's Al Scheibel. I live at 501 Theo Avenue. I resided there for about 5 years. I moved from the city of Lansing because of the politics that were going on there with police and taxes, high taxes, and no service. And I'm getting the same thing in Delta Township. My taxes were $1,900 when I bought that house 5 years ago. Now they're almost $3,500. And I moved from a house that was worth a lot more than my house in the city of Lansing, and their taxes are, I believe, $70 a thousand. Delta Township is $40 a thousand. Why am I paying so many taxes? So much high taxes. And I've had a problem with people driving down my street going 76 miles an hour. And I've complained probably half a dozen times to the Delta Township Police Department. And they don't make a comment. One day they had some down the street, they had some disturbance there, and there's 2 police cars there. I went and asked them when they're going to patrol the street. Well, where do you live at? I told them, can we park in your driveway? And I says, you're welcome to sit there. I wish you would. I have not seen a patrol car stopped on my street with radar ever since I've lived there. And I figure out a speeding ticket at 76 miles an hour is probably $300. If they just sent there for a day, they could probably make $1,500 a day just on the tickets alone. Where the hell's the police department at? You see them racing down Saginaw Street 100 miles an hour. I've rode motorcycles all my life. And I'm afraid to ride down Saginaw Street, Delta Township. I'm safer out on a country road. But I'd like to see something done about the police department. If you're going to keep raising taxes, and the question is too, is you built the building, what come first, the horse or the carriage? You didn't have no police to put in there. And what was wrong with that building to begin with? It needed modernized so we could have a transgender bathroom in it, we understand. And the building wasn't that old. And then I look out in the parking lot, all the trucks out there for Delta Township are brand new. They got chrome on them. That isn't the way the government run. They used to drive, in City Lansing, they used to drive cheap Oldsmobiles. Now they're driving Ford Explorers. Delta Township Ford Explorers. What's wrong with having a police car? The whole system's a mess. And if we gotta live like Trump wants us, if we gotta live like the Democrats want us to, I voted for Trump, and I'm proud I did, because he's getting rid of the fat ugly government. And that's what we need to do here in Delta Township. I hate to see the price tag that this board gets just to sit here. It's a part-time job supposed to be. And we just got to have something done about it, and soon, because I'm thinking about blocking the road off to stop the people from racing.
Your time is up. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Next public speaker, please. Next public speaker.
Hi, I'm Alexis Phillips and I live at.
Can you speak a little closer to the mic, Alexis?
Is that better? Hi, I live at 1005 Red Cliff Drive in Lansing. I'm a Delta Township resident. I appreciate the board's efforts to maintain public safety, but I'm concerned about the 1.5 mil special assessment and the long-term implications of this police service agreement. Eaton County voters have now rejected this public safety millage twice. That includes many Delta Township residents. Approving a tax increase through a special assessment without voter approval feels like a run around that public decision. This approach undermines public trust and the democratic process. We're being asked to nearly double our financial contribution to policing without a clear long-term plan. What happens next year? Is this assessment permanent? Will it rise again? And how do we know that we're getting the value promised? The contract adds, I think, 5 deputies, but what is their role? Will this funding be used for proactive community policing, building relationships and preventing crime, or simply reactive response? Residents deserve to see measurable outcomes, not just increased presence. I'm also concerned about accountability. If Eaton County faces more budget instability or fails to deliver on staffing levels, what protections does Delta Township have? Is there an opt-out clause, performance benchmarks, or an annual service audit? What recourse do we have if we don't get what we pay for? Finally, before raising taxes, why hasn't the township fully explored other revenue sources, like better enforcement of existing ordinances for blight, overgrown lawns, and overnight parking violations? These issues directly affect quality of life and can generate income while reducing the need for reactive law enforcement. We all want safe neighborhoods, but that means more than just officers. It means strategic, community-focused investment. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexa. Next public speaker.
Hello, my name is Vincent Josick. I live at 4328 Marmore Drive. I'm speaking against the proposed special assessment, mainly on the pure undemocratic nature of just slapping this levy upon our property. Personally, I voted against this, the increased taxes twice. But, the board is correct. Overall, the township did approve it. And, yes, so as somebody did mention, that would say that a majority in the township would likely approve it. So if that's the case, while I would vote against it again, what's the fear of running another election? So there can be this supposed majority that the data has shown. It seems to me, just based on the prior meeting recordings and agendas that I've gone through, I'm kind of shocked that there was only one board member that even kind of questioned the assessment when they asked, we are reviewing this annually to make sure we're getting our money's worth. I can only, say, and it's kind of been hinted around or said, I think somebody said this is almost like a hostage situation. I would say it's more of a racket situation. This was a closed meeting that you guys attended, and then you came out and you're like, all right, special assessment is the only way forward. It's going to be $1.5 million. We're going to have 2 of these hearings. I've been through and attended and partaken and kind of ran through my day job. Meetings much like this, where a lot of times you already know what you're going to do before you even run this. So, I mean, if this is all just for show, I would at least like to thank you for at least letting us come up and voice our grievances. But I would also strongly encourage you to listen to everybody here tonight. That's all I really had to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Lonier. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but unlike most people, I'm kind of for the safety millage, only because I've lived here 25 years and I don't feel safe here at all anymore. The one thing I'm going to talk about, that's all I'm going to say on that, is I want everybody here to be just as angry over the CATA millage, because this board wants us to pay for other people's transportation. CATA's turned this area into a dump, and why should we as taxpayers have to pick that tab up? There was a lady here talking earlier about the motives of the board, and I'm going to share one reason this board wants CATA. They're trying to build low-income housing in Delta Township. They got a grant for this low-income housing, and one of the stipulations is CATA access, which they want all of us to pay for. They're trying to sugarcoat by not using the term low-income housing, but they want the taxpayers of Delta Township to fund CATA. And I hope everybody here who's opposing this increase is just as irate over the CATA millage.
Excuse me, can you provide your address for us today?
I live on Doe Pass in Broadbent Woods.
Thank you so much.
My name is Phil Rakowski. I live at 6707.
Excuse me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Clerk Clark, I just wanted to be clear that you cannot go to a tax tribunal if you do not give your complete address. So just. You need to go to the mic. If you could come up here for us, please. We appreciate that.
8415 Doe Pass, Lansing, Michigan, 48917.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, you're fine.
Please go ahead.
My name is Phil Rakowski. I'm at 6707 Pickett's Way in Lansing, or 8916, or 917, sorry. Anyway, I wasn't planning to speak here tonight, but what I haven't heard yet, I've heard that, we've voted this down twice. The monies that it took to have those elections, we had 2 of them. And now I've heard the end game, I've heard you're superseding and things like this. If we voted it down once and then we voted it down twice, where is that? Okay, this isn't gonna work. What did we do? What do we do to finance this? It's obvious that it's needed. I've heard many people talk about the policing and things like that, and I support the policing and things like that, but you're putting it on us. And I've heard the people say things about businesses and things like that that use most of that policing. So what are the businesses paying? What are the businesses that are involved with this? Have they been approached with this? Because the voters have already voted it down twice. when you talk about that building that you put up back here, you know, I was all for that. That's fine. But did you think about what it would take to run that building? I just, I worked in the school system for 31 years. And we constantly battled about budget and things like this. But when we battled, it was, what's your long-term plan? Where's this going? We, you know, oh, we anticipate these people moving in, moving out and things like that. What you're anticipating, I feel like we forgot. Put a building together, got this building. What's it take to staff it? How much? And then you brought it to us and we said, well, you know, we want to see more from Walmart or Bass Pro that's going in, or Bob's, or whatever these shops are, BJ's and stuff like that, that have these bus stops going there and need more policing because the shoplifters are there and they're the ones getting arrested and so on and so forth and whatever. That's why I spoke here today, because I just feel like we forget how much an election costs, and we did it twice and it got shot down twice. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much.
My name's James Webster. I live at 1115 North Christ Road since 1977. I have 48 years in the criminal justice system, City of Lansing, Ingham County. I've done major budgets, grants, mapping. Something that you're missing is called shift relief factor. How many deputies does it take to answer all the calls and servicing in this county? One of the things I've noticed though, I went to Kohl's one day, watched the guy carry out a bunch of shirts. So I went in as a witness and they said, we don't call the sheriff anymore. That's because, why? You've got all kinds of crime. Saginaw Street, year after year, is rated one of the largest accident places in the Tri-County area, year after year after year. Now the state's going to look out marketplace to try to fix it. So we're always behind in the planning process of what it takes, what it costs. I'm pro-police. I'm against this process because people are getting hit in Delta Township, sewers, assessment, another assessment. And as a retiree, as a cop, it hurts. And if you're going to keep doing it, it shows me poor planning. I'll be glad to show the lady how to do shift relief factor, figure out how many county monies you need. But right now, you don't have enough. You don't even have enough for the 4th of July fireworks. So when you're planning, you have to take a few steps, like 5 years ahead, and look at your numbers. And when I wrote out my assessments to the state, county, and city, numbers tell a story. Your numbers are weak. You have 1 year numbers. You need more than 1 year number to project the future. So I thank you for your time. Again, do the process correct. Don't put it upon the people, because if they had to vote for it tomorrow, you're not going to get a vote for this assessment or others in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Regina Johnson, 4745 Omar Drive, Lansing. I'm going to support this. I know it's not what most of the people want here. I also don't want to pay a lot of taxes and on a fixed income, but we do need some policing service. We're not getting it. The state police have something like 20 some to cover 3 counties. They're not going to be able to cover us if something happens. And yes, I also think that the board should continue looking at ways the businesses can pick up more of the cost, because I know that's where most of the runs go. And also a lot of the runs for the fire station, because I'm by one, and where are they going? Myers, 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 Myers. So, yes. And for drug problems, yes, we are having more, but drugs are not an inner city thing. I've traveled the state for my job, and there are cities in the UP that have been decimated by drugs. It is not a big city. It isn't everybody's city problem with drugs and that. So it isn't just coming out here and moving out. It's all over the place. And yes, money's getting cut for that. So I support it. Yes, I would prefer not to, but that's where we're at. And Delta Township has voted yes on this twice. Downstate County has voted no.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. It's public speaker. My name is Lucinda Miller. I live at 221 Rinker Road in Lansing. And I'm also complaining about all the assessments. These are getting ridiculous. We are definitely retired family. My father-in-law is 97. He lives right next door to me and we watch him because he's in 97 and he's also got dementia. His assessment for this drain is 14,000. Ours was 17,000. My daughter lives at 129 Theo. Hers is 10,000. We voted down, all of us, all the assessments because we are tired of getting taken money of. Yes, I do support the police department. I've worked with police officers and I trust them. Do we need more? Oh, yeah. But quit assessing us. We've had enough. I don't know where you want me to pull this money out of. And my father-in-law has lived in his house for over 50 years. I've lived in Delta Township over 60 years and I'm 67. So through in and out the years, I've lived here most of my life. I'm tired and we need a break. And the only thing I feel like right now that you're doing to us is you're trying to kick me out of my house for whatever purpose. I don't want to move. I've lived there over 30 years. My grandson would like to inherit my house. And right now he can't even afford it if I did sell it to him. You guys are killing us. Please stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Abinola.
Hi, my name is Dan Quina, 8311 Dole Pass. Look, just a couple comments on the police. I respect police, always back the blue. I wouldn't take their job for any amount of money. But I will say this, I'm very concerned about the 1.5 and what's going to do to our family being retired. I'm not as concerned about this 1.5 as I am about the next 1.5 or 2 or 3. My understanding is that these police officers will be will be employees of Eaton County and will negotiate with their board. I'm not sure what incentive their board is going to have for trying to keep costs down. And my concern is, are they just going to say, okay, or Delta, here's your bill for next year, take it or leave it? I feel there's something's not right quite there. The other thing I want to address real quickly is CATA, or CATA, not exactly sure how you pronounce it. I do have some numbers here from CATA that I'd like to share. There's a number of 3,000 per month ridership in the county on Route 3. The actual total to date is 99,571 riders since the grant was approved. This was over 26 months, okay? So you take the 26 months and divide it into 99,571, and you come up with 3,829 riders per month. 31 days in a month, it averages 124 passengers a day. There's 33 runs that go up and down Marketplace every day. 33 runs per day into 124 passengers a day is 3.75 passengers on each bus. Each bus holds about 40, as capacity is 40. You're operating at less than 10% capacity on those buses. It's not economically friendly. The trash up and down Marketplace, especially in front of Walmart, is ridiculous. I have pictures here that I'd like to give to the board. This shows this is what I see every day. I walk down Marketplace every day. I live in Laurelwood, walk down Saginaw and back. Trash all over up and down Marketplace. All up and down.
Please direct your comment to.
Yeah, well, I'll give each one of these. Last Friday morning, I was on my walk and I came across a drug, some prescription drugs right by the bus stop across from LAFQ.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, but your time is
Okay.
up and you're certainly welcome to leave any
Sure.
pictures with Courtney. She'll see that the board gets them. Thank you so much. I'm sorry that your time ran out.
My name is Larry Abraham. I live at 1121 North Christ Road. I've been here since 1988, and for the last 15, 20 years, I have seen a lot of issues coming up. Like for an example, a lot of storefronts that are empty up and down Saginaw is starting to look like South Lansing. And what the problem is here, it's not the money, it's the mindset of the people running with our money. Okay? I don't like to bring politics into things, but I'm going to tell you straight up. This is mainly a Democratic board that we're all looking at and we're dealing with. Every city, I don't care how small it is or how big it is, when they're controlled by the Democrats, there's nothing but chaos and problems. And I'm seeing that day after day. Okay? I go by Kroger's and there's panhandlers out there all the time. People going through the trash, guys walking around with grocery carts up and down Kreitz Road. People doing 60, 70 miles an hour. I've even asked Eaton County to sit in my driveway for one day, and I'll guarantee you'll get 30 or 40 people very easily, okay? This other issue that you all are talking about is high-rise Section 8 property on Earlington and Kreitz Road, where you want to put 2 or 3 high-rise apartments in my 3 doors down from where I live. And I was here on December 4th last year, and I vehemently told you I better not see this happen. The only thing that's stopping it from happening, it's not because of what we say, it's because of the simple fact that there is a law on the books that says you cannot do Section 8 in Delta Township. And I want to know how that is addressed when you go behind closed doors and figure a way to get around that. Because if that's the only thing that's stopping us, and I hope it's not the only thing, I was also told that Donald Trump put a stop to this money funding this low income subsidized in most of these areas. So I'm just bringing out some points, and I'm just telling you, you better start thinking about what we're saying instead of beholding to the higher ups in the Democratic Party for what they want. They don't live here. We are the ones that live here, and you start thinking about what we want and not what they want. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Venus. Public speaker, please.
Beth Pong, 206 Hume Boulevard. I want to start
Can
by
you
saying
repeat your name one more time? I'm sorry.
Beth Pong.
Beth, thank you.
I want to say I'm pro-police. It's a no-brainer that we need police. I'm here to protest the special assessment. My problem is the way it's being funded. I have a question. People were posting and arguing about this online. I was told by somebody that the township has 62 to 69 million dollars in assets. I assume that came from our already taxed money. So I'd like to know what that money is being earmarked for when it could be shifted. Have also been hit with a $11,000 drain assessment, but I don't hear anybody mentioning with the interest, it's going to be 22,000. So whatever your assessment was, it's double that. Seniors, vets, and sick people can't keep absorbing these increased taxes. Also, I've heard several people mention this low-income building behind Kroger's. I don't have an issue with that. I don't know if people know, but there's already low-income buildings on Mall Drive as well as Elmwood Park. The problem with the buildings is not the building. People may need those, seniors, et cetera, low-income people. It's the way they're run, and the people that run them do not take care of the people who cause chaos. That's the issue. Also, I am told this tax abatement, one of the board members owns part of it or started it. My question is, if it's tax abatement, they're already getting from HUD or MISTA a discount. Is that tax abatement for the contractors or owners of the building gonna be shifted to us, the homeowners? Also, want to say I spoke with somebody at Eaton County who told me the board didn't increase taxes in time before they were in trouble because they didn't want to be voted out. If you are a typical CEO and you're running a business, you need to forecast forward ahead, not make an emergency and put it on the people. You're going to be taxing people who can't afford it out of their homes. And I do want to mention my family has owned the home since 1976. The area was very nice when we moved there. It is going downhill. And next you're talking about a CATA. I guess what I'm gonna say is, when are the special assessments gonna end? You're taxing people out of their homes.
Next public speaker. And if there's anyone else, it's gonna be a last call. If there's anyone else that wants to speak, please come on up. Go ahead. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
my name is Cheryl Hedberg. I live at 6124 Wind Charm Avenue. I've been a resident of Delta Township for 60 years and also have been in property management for 44 years. I'm concerned with all the assessments, but what is coming in the future regarding CATA. I'm understanding that Grand Ledge and Charlotte have, at this point, no plan in asking their residents for a millage. So that concerns me that that will be Delta Township's full load on our residents. Also, with the pilot program and the tax abatements that come along with that, right now we don't have a pilot ordinance, or we have a no pilot ordinance. And my concern on that is tax revenue coming into the township will be about half of what it would normally be on a property that isn't involved with the pilot program. So I just feel that's a huge negative in funding Delta Township. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next public.
Carol Adato, 1014 Montevideo Drive, Lansing, 48917. Here's the one thing I want to make clear. We need our fire. We need our paramedics. We need our police. I understand what you all are saying. I live on a fixed income. I went back to work last year, bottom line. And just to make up for what I'm losing, I don't want to lose any of my services. And when we have an issue and we call the police department, they show up. I've lived in this area for 64 years. You want taxes? Move out to East Lansing. Move into the city of Lansing. See how bad their taxes are there. We're not paying half of what they pay out there. My brother lives in East Lansing. He pays $12,000 a year on a 2,200 square foot house. Think about it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next public speaker.
Larry Bung, 4603 Malpaso, Lansing. I have a lot of questions that have been asked here tonight, and I'm wondering, is there going to be answers to those questions?
There is, I will say this on behalf of the board, and they certainly can speak a little later if they like. We will not be commenting tonight, but we do have information on our website. There's FAQs and a lot of questions that are outlined there, as well as the staff avails themselves to answer your calls any day, Monday through Friday. So feel free to call.
When I went to your website some time ago, there was nothing there about information.
It's there now.
Is it?
Now, but please call. the township hall and you can speak with Manager Reed or any of their team. They'll be glad to answer your questions.
One comment I do have about the assessment. I think it is more of a tax than it is an assessment. So I don't know if that differs with the township or not, but it technically is a tax. And I get that from AI. So I don't know. They say, yeah, this is a tax. Tax is a tax. Duck is a duck. But anyhow, and somebody else mentioned pass this taxes on to the businesses. I just got my auto owner's home insurance is up 38%. So that's what happens when you put that on the businesses, right? Thank you.
Thank you for commenting. Public speaker, if there are any other public speakers, please come now. Thank you.
Matthew Richardson, 10382 Apple Blossom Lane. I rise in opposition and protest to the absurdity of this proposed special assessment. Delta Township should not be held responsible for the failings of your counterparts at the county level. This is titled a special assessment estimate. It really should be titled Delta Township Shakedown or Delta Township Extortion Notice, because you are not
Please, if you could
drain
hold on,
commissioners.
he concludes his comment.
You
Thank
do not have the ability to say, oh, here's what we're gonna do, and it's gonna cost you X. And then next year, it's gonna be twice that. While you have given me an estimate, it is only for 1 quarter. So your estimate is actually going to be 4 times that amount by the time you're done. I am upset. I am enraged because you have not put this to the people. You have lied to everyone about this. You say on your notice that this is for all properties in the township. In fact, it is not. Kohl's uses the majority of the retail fraud investigations, but yet the deputy who made the report in 2024 fails to identify how many of those individuals were actually prosecuted, how many actually went to jail. I'm sorry, I think this idea of pushing through your agenda at the prime time of vacation in Michigan is inappropriate. I believe it is just like the previous sexual deviant who put through the millage for that building across the street with less than 25% of residents voting. I'm sorry, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Yes, they come on now.
Ann Blair, 903 North Waverly Road. I am pro-police. I am socked with more drain than anybody else. I had a drain assessment, the first one for $12,000. We just got done paying it and got another $19,000 bill. I understand the need for the drain because it was 100 years of neglect by all the governments involved. What is so infuriating, and I've heard it no matter how you stand on the issue, if you want the police or if you don't. Because my assessment, yes, I don't want it. Can I probably afford it? I can. However, we are sick and tired of your mismanagement of money in the sense that there's no future planning. You've heard it from other people. There's not a 5-year plan. You have a basic 1-year plan, maybe, which means we will have more assessments and more things. Not that you're forcing us out of our houses. How can we even sell our houses? Because who's going to want to take on special assessment things where they're going to have more taxes? It is absurd for you guys, and it's very negative on the township to not have some plans in place instead of coming out and saying, oh, the millage didn't pass, no fireworks. That was rude. Come out and tell us, okay, we do have a 1-year plan, but now here's our 5-year plan. Here's our 10-year plan. If we are short for police officers, we don't need sidewalks put in. We don't need some other things that are perks. Yes, is it nice? But it is not necessary. The police are necessary. Public safety is necessary. We need to have priorities and we need to have planning because we cannot keep doing these assessments. I understand them, but you can't keep asking us to work more and more and more hours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Public speaker.
Hi, my name is Joan Annis and I live at 1012 Robbins Road. In November 24 and May of 25, countywide votes rejected the proposal for this. Isn't that enough? We've already said no twice. We all have to live on a budget. Why should Eaton County Sheriff's Department do this thing? In the letter that you sent out for the special assessment, it states Eaton County budget shortfalls have led to service cuts. Why do we have budget shortfalls? We have to do a budget. Why can't you balance yours? Now you want taxes for the special assessment, which twice voters have said no to, on top of this new drain assessment that we have to pay $15,000 for. What about the $24 million settlement that Sergeant Jonathan Frost, when he killed Devin Guilford in 2017, who's paying for that? You are taxing people right out of Eaton County. Here are a couple ways to help you increase your revenue for the county instead of more assessments. Why don't you fix the roof on the Richmond Center so more rooms can be rented out instead of letting it just rot away? Why don't you have officers patrol on Robbins Road before and after school on St. Gerard? You can get a lot of money there. And also have officers sit there on Robbins Road Saturday and Sunday before and after church. If you trust me, I live on that street. Or anytime people fly down that street 75 miles an hour, it's that school zone. So you stop the yearly fireworks. How much does that save us? Apply it to that. Why do we have why do we have a pickup truck for for the sheriff's department? That's not prudent. Wasn't the sheriff's office just remodeled or rebuilt? How old was that building before? We have to make do. I don't think there's any reason that you guys can't make do as well. We all have to live on a budget, so should the sheriff's department. Just remember, you guys work for us. Okay? Just do better.
Thank you so much for your comment. We're going down to the final call. If you would love to speak and we're good with that, please get in line. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Kevin Annis, 1012 Robbins Road. Ryan, glad to see you up and about. Still waiting on that zoning issue. Existing law that should be enforced, taken care of. I want to object to the special assessment for the Delta Patrol. This was voted on, and I don't care how the demographics worked. The people have spoken. You need to live on a budget like we do. We're already straining from the action taken by our drain commissioner who wanted his property on Dipple Road remodeled and remediated so that he could sell it one day and retire. Very usurious deal from Eaton County. And perhaps in the future, you business geniuses could stop giving tax abatements to General Motors, its suppliers, retail developments like the Delta Township Crossing, or even large insurance companies. Large insurance companies have called your bluff and never intended to move because the town that they bought land in had no infrastructure to support them. You sit there in comfortable judgment of your wage slaves, and I suggest you read up on Green Charter Township and their sweeping changes earlier this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. Next speaker.
Fritz Vetter, 4841 River Ridge. Been a resident in the township since 1974. And I too feel that this is a problem with our democracy when, we can have multiple elections asking the same question, getting different, expecting a different result. That's double, triple jeopardy, and I don't think that that's the way things were designed. With that said, I do have a question about technology. That's something that we haven't really talked about. It's a line item that was discussed early in the presentation. And in my experience, been in the IT field for about 35 years, and I've not seen where technology balloons in price. You know, I just threw away an assessment that my father did back in the 90s for his first PC. Cost him about $4,000. And it ran very slow by today's standards. So, you know, if technology couldn't be planned ahead for 5, 10 years in advance, then that to me is more of a management problem and not a taxpayer problem. That's my point.
Rosalie Bachelor, 1817.
The mic down just a little bit for you. Thank you.
Rosalie Bachelor, 1817 North Willow Highway. I've been in Delta Township about 40 years, and I agree with a lot of people. The quality of life here has really deteriorated. On North Willow Highway, we have talked to Delta Patrol for over a decade. We have people going 55 to 60 miles an hour past our homes. The noise is so outrageous, you can be woke up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. You can't even get a decent night's sleep. You can't be in your front yard a lot of the time because of the speed and the noise of these cars that have been altered. We asked over a decade ago that Delta Township enforce the noise ordinance. And they said, we don't have enough of the monitors to do that. And that was a decade ago. The noise problem and these mufflers on these cars that have been altered has just escalated to the point where, like I said, you have contractors out front you're trying to speak to, and they say something to you like, you choose to live this way? I mean, it's 24/7. And I'm not saying the police haven't showed up. They will sit, we've asked it again, like others said, they sit in our driveway. They don't. And that is the only way to get the true picture. You can sit on San Gabriel or at St. George Parish like they do, but they're not getting the true picture. They are ticketing now because when we call, they come around again for a while. But this is a problem that is escalated and grown, and it's not going away unless it's dealt with. If you don't make people accountable, this township is not going to be livable. And my other issue is with our inspectors. A few years back, I had a water heater inspected. I ended up with a gas leak. The water heater was approved. A few years ago, I had an upper deck. It had to be cut off the house and rebuilt. Had an inspector out 4 times. Final inspection in the spring. I'm out there, and thank God my grandsons were out there because the railing was so loose. If someone would have hit against it, they would have fallen to the ground. I happened to run into the inspector at Recycle. I showed him the video my brother took, and he said, didn't you have a final inspection? I said, yes, you did it. So I have not had good luck the last, I would say, 8 years with this township. And it's disappointing because this used to be an amazing township. So I do think we need to get our priorities straight. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment. Okay, I don't see anyone outstanding, so that concludes our public comment and our public hearing. I'll call the public hearing closed. Now we are back to the agenda, and we are to the section of the agenda where there is a motion needed for two items, A and B. It would be one motion that covers both A and B under the special assessment. Is there such a, or is there something else? It'll be two separate motions.
Yes.
Yes, two separate motions. One for A, we'll do A first and then we'll do B. Is there a motion for A? Clerk Clark?
I move that the Delta Township Board adopt the resolution to establish the 2025 Public Safety Special Assessment District.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
Any discussion? If not, we'll call the roll.
Clerk Clark is yes. Trustee Lyman,
Aye.
trustee Cascarella, trustee Bowman,
Yes.
trustee Mohica, treasurer Fidelwell,
Yes.
supervisor Vermer,
Yes,
motion carries.
that motion carries. We're now under, we're on, item B. Is there a motion for item B? Oh, trustee Lyman, thank you.
I move that the Delta Township Board adopt the resolution to set the public hearing on the special assessment roll for September 2nd, 2025.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, clerk Clark, roll call, please.
Trustee Lyman,
Aye.
treasurer Fidelwell.
Yes.
Supervisor, excuse me, trustee Mohica,
Yes.
trustee Cascarella, trustee Bowen.
Yes.
Clerk Clark is yes, supervisor Vermer,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you so much. We have concluded with the items under the public hearing. We are now down to public comments. If there are public comments that you'd like to make beyond what you've made or additional ones, you're welcome to do so. Not now.
Do I need to say my name again?
Please.
Michaela Lucas, 4909 West Haven Boulevard. Did I just witness this assessment passing?
The public hearing, setting the district pass, there will be a second public hearing for this.
It's set
Something
the
else?
boundaries
Yeah.
for the district, which is the entire township.
So is there a chance that this assessment will not carry forward? Or is this a done deal that you're just appeasing us by listening, but you're not actually going to make a change or try to find the money elsewhere? I don't understand how this works exactly, but is there a chance that this is not moving forward, or is this already done?
You can continue with your public comments. This is the first of two public hearings, so nothing is done yet, but please continue. We cannot interrupt your comments. So I just didn't want you standing there thinking I'm ignoring you.
No, I'm just trying to understand the process that things happen here. This is my first meeting, and I'm just trying to understand. So there will be another meeting like this in September. And then what is the next process? Then you guys will vote, just the board?
The board will ultimately take a vote, but I would love for us to be able to answer your questions. You can see any of the management staff or any of us after this. We'll be glad to answer any of your questions, or you can call any day of the week and we'll gladly walk you through the process. Thank you.
Molly Woods, 6060 North River Highway, Grand Ledge. I have one comment, and that is recall.
Thank you so much for your comment. Any other comments? Okay, we are going to close public comment and we're going to move on to the consent agenda. What is the passion of the board for the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support you. It has been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. After that pass, huh? It's okay.
Oh, sorry. Here, let's see what it did with it. Trustee Bowen,
Yes.
trustee Mohica,
Yes.
trustee Lyman,
Aye.
trustee Cascarella, treasurer Fidelwell.
Yes.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Supervisor Brewer.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. We have no old items of business. We have one new item of business. And I will, let's see here. This is a designation of a delegate, an alternate delegate for the Michigan Municipal League Annual Convention. And, I don't know, Manager Reed, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
No, this just elects a designee to attend the business meeting. Oftentimes in the past, it's been myself or Treasurer Fedowa, but I don't think any of us are opposed, whoever is appointed. Whoever the board would like to serve as the designee for the township to vote on the MML platform.
Is there anyone here on the board that's interested in it? You just have to stay for the meeting, because the meeting is usually.
Yeah, you do have to attend.
Stay. It might feel like Taylor was there, like, you know, those meetings can be long, so I just want to make sure that you'd be there representing the township. That's fine. So we have trustee Mohica, who is one. Is there a second?
I could serve as the alternate. That would be fine.
Be an alternate, okay.
Mhm.
So we have two designated delegates. And is there a motion to appoint those two people as delegates?
I so move.
That has been moved. We are going to have trustee Bowen.
Second.
Oh, it's been second?
Josh.
Is there a second? Josh, thank you. Trustee Lyman, sorry about that. So it has been moved and seconded that trustee Mohica and trustee Bowen will be the two delegates for the business meeting at the MML conference. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. And let's see if there's any manager Reed. You are up for your manager report.
Thank you Supervisor Brewer and board members. I just wanted to say as a follow-up for the public hearing, I took a lot of notes and we will add a lot of the questions to our frequently asked questions page and clarifications on some of the things that were stated. Just one very clear thing is businesses will pay the special assessment. I think I heard someone say that businesses wouldn't be paying but they will pay this assessment as well. So we will have that updated on our webpage here in the next day or two. A couple events coming up that you know about. It's a busy week. Tomorrow evening, we have beginning at 3:30 p.m. We're hosting our master plan open house at the Delta Township District Library. That event will run till 7:30. So we encourage all of you and our residents to attend and provide input that'll inform the next draft of our township master plan. For those who cannot make it, tomorrow we'll also launch the public survey for the master plan, which will be found at plandeltami.com. And I'm sorry, that event runs till 6:30. Real-time text. Also tomorrow out at Mount Hope Park, we're hosting the National Night Out and Touch a Truck event. So it gives the community opportunity to come get to know our Delta Patrol members. Have that local engagement with law enforcement, come out and enjoy some good food, check out the selection of trucks and heavy equipment from a variety of industries. So that was a pretty big success when we combined those events. I believe last year was the first year we combined those events. But it's out at Mount Hope Park instead of Sharp Park due to the construction and that type of thing. On Wednesday, the township will host the ABCs of Housing Forum that we've much anticipated and waited. So we're coordinating with representatives from the Capital Area Housing Partnership, Mishta, a local realtor, a local developer, along with township staff to present on the current housing market, state and regional housing studies, various housing programs, incentives, and to provide the opportunity for the public to comment on the information and have a community conversation about these housing items. Next week, we will mail out the second public hearing notice to residents regarding the public hearing that we just set for September 2nd for the special assessment roll. So that will be going out. The Talk of the Township, our electronic newsletter, was mailed out this afternoon. Just want to say this last week on Tuesday, nearly all of our employees attended a de-escalation training that was hosted by the Resolution Services Center of Michigan. So that was well received. It was kind of a quick hitter training, but we moved everybody through in a couple of sessions. And so we'll look to do some additional training like that in the future. Wednesday, we had a small event where Delta Township and Eaton County officials both formally signed the contract for the police contract. So thank you all for that. And thank you for all those who came out for a ribbon cutting on St. Joe Highway water main and pathway project. That project began in the fall of 2023, and we're just wrapping up the punch list items, but I just want to really truly recognize a lot of staff who have poured their efforts into that probably over the last 5 years, obtaining easements and then coordinating that project and then overseeing the construction, which was very difficult to coordinate. So primarily our utility department and engineering department, Jake and his crew, really a great project, but a very challenging one. And happy that that was completed. That was a very critical water main replacement project, and happy to add the amenity of the shared pathway. And that's all I have for tonight, but happy to answer any questions of the board.
I have a question. I have on my calendar an MDOT lag meeting for tomorrow at 10 a.m. Is that in error, or is there a meeting scheduled with MDOT, the Saginaw project? Are you aware of that at all, Supervisor Brewer?
No, because you're our representative, so I don't.
Right. I thought I had received a notice on that.
I believe that is on for tomorrow. Is
Peter?
Peter available?
Well, Jake's standing out there.
Peter,
It is 10 o'clock. Okay, thank you.
you know where that is? Treasurer, Peter, okay.
Microsoft Teams meeting MC, so. Right, thank you.
Sorry, Treasurer, if I was having trouble
that's all
finding it
right.
on my phone.
That's all right. And the only other thing too, I think you're not giving yourself enough credit here. Brian, the 33
Excuse me, can you guys hold it down just a little bit, please? Thank you.
Dennis?
The 33 easements that you were able to secure.
Excuse me,
And
thank you.
I know it was a challenge, and there were some on the board, previous members of the board, that thought that may have been a impossible task, but knowing that you took lessons from Don Quixote, that you were able to achieve the impossible dream and are able to get it done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Fedewa. Any other comments or questions for Manager Reed?
Clerk, point of
And then-
clarification. The MML meeting is not on Mackinac Island, is
No,
as indicated
It's in
in
Grand
the
Rapids.
memo,
Sorry, I'm
just so you
gonna
know.
miss the location.
Thank
I'm
you.
updating that.
No, it's in Grand Rapids.
It's incorrect.
Yes.
For the master plan open house, is there an agenda or is there, mine just doesn't open, or I know you sent me something, Brian, but I don't, is there, I'm not
Agenda
sure.
for the master plan at the library. I know it's at the library. I don't know. if there's-
Yeah, I'd let Peter speak to that as his event. He's been hanging out in room C all night.
Overflow room. So yeah, you are all distributed a card tonight. The link on that card or the QR code goes to the website that our consultant set up for the master plan process. So there's not a lot of information there right now. Starting tomorrow, there will be a community survey that will be posted and that will about land use planning and some other things like that. So that'll be live tomorrow. For the meeting tomorrow, there's not necessarily an agenda. It's going to be set up in a room with stations where consultants will be at different stations, and they'll be asking questions and talking about different issues at different tables. They're all related to land use planning. So they'll have big maps on on tables for people to react to and for them to probe and get information from people. So, and then there'll be kind of rolling on demand presentations on just the process from our consultant team, really just as needed as we go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh, wait, Peter, before you
Yes.
run off. And how long is the master plan? What is the duration of the master plan once it's formulated and adopted?
Yeah, I mean, it could run from 10 to 20 years. That's the outlook, that's the perspective that one should be considering when looking at land use for
So
the
you would
master
consider
plan.
that long-term
Yeah.
planning? Okay,
For land is, yes.
yes,
But we're
Thank you.
supposed to review it every 5 years.
yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Refresh it if necessary. Excellent. Thank you so much, Manager Reed and board members. Are there any board committee reports, updates? Trustee Bowen.
Last week I attended, Tri-County Regional Planning Commission as a representative of Delta Township, and I am there with representatives from Clinton County, Ingham County, Eaton County, City of Lansing, City of East Lansing, DeWitt Township, Meridian Township. There are a couple other, communities, maybe Delhi, I'm not sure. And MDOT representatives and then staff from Tri-County. And, you know, our meetings are open to the public as well. And in the meetings that I have gone to this year, no one has ever come to do public comment or anything like that. They put together the 50-year regional transportation plan and had open for public comments, got 0 public comments, unfortunately, although I did share that we had really good turnout for our MDOT open house and they were happy to hear that. I also wanted to point out in our packet of information that's available on the website, Tri-County classifies Delta Township all the way actually out, including Grand Ledge, the greater Lansing urban area. We are classified as urban for certain, you know, grant opportunities and governmental things. And so that is recognized and has been for years. Apparently we just lost a little bit of Shiawassee County because their population went down, but not here. So we are considered an urban area, and a few other things I'm looking into with Tri-County, looking for any opportunities for grant money to help us with things like the banks drain and any other kinds of opportunities, but have nothing to report on that yet. And I will keep everyone posted.
Thank you, Trustee Bowen, for representing us and giving us a report. Okay, we are now down to another public comment. That's what it says on the agenda. If there's anyone who would like to speak, feel free to do so. Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, 8311 Don't Pass. I'd like the board again to dive deep into those numbers for CATA. You know, a grant is a nice thing temporarily to see if something works. And I think the data on the numbers is showing that it does not work here, okay? 3.75 passengers per bus is not very environmentally friendly. It's less than 10% capacity. When I walk up and down Marketplace, most times there's 0 people on every bus. Sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 3. But these numbers bear out what my eyes have seen for the last couple of years. The trash, the drugs, the people, it was mentioned here a couple months ago that the businesses love this bus coming in. I'm not speaking for this person, but he said I could use his name today. I spoke to the manager at Walmart, James. He said that bus is more of a bane than a blessing. He's got only 5 people out of 300 employees that ride that bus. So it's not really bringing in a lot of workers into our community. The environmental impact, the wear and tear on our roads, the trash. It's just not, the grant just isn't working. And for us to have to pay for that for the next number of years does not seem very prudent. Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking. Okay, I think we have concluded with everything on the agenda, so not hearing anything else, we are adjourned.